All right, here we go on this Tuesday. Let's go. Yes, we are on. Admittedly, I can't believe the coach in Barrington. We're going to talk about it. Really, just I agree. 100%. What an embarrassment, everybody. All right. We have a special guest coming up. David Bossie's going to join us. New Charlie Kirk. We're going to talk about that. But I can. Gian says the audio was good. I can't believe that Barrington coach, and we need people to find out more information about him. I don't, I've had a busy morning. It's all very busy right now. And if you haven't heard it, I just posted the videos. I was actually stunned, but I have some information on that, and then I'm going to tell you again. We're going to be starting in just a moment. I want to double check, make sure I think all our audio is good. Yes, the audio is good. There's Henry B. Yes, Henry B. I can't get over that. The coach. This is absolute insanity. But you know what else? Couple things about this coach, who I think also, anyone that has info on this guy, let's get it out there. What an embarrassment this guy is. Yeah. There's two parts to him. I mean, it's one thing the teacher. What's his name? Barrington coach Jeff Turner. Never heard of him, but I can't. Here's what I know. That was written for him. I can tell when someone's reading their own words or when they're reading something prepared. I could tell when he got to the word provocateur. You know why? Because that's not, I'm willing to bet, a word that this clown uses, this Jeff Turner. Actually, let me just check before we're live. Gets up there. I can't get over this guy. I mean, again, it's one thing the stooge teacher, and Channel 10, by the way, went to his house last night. Channel 10 did go to his house. Even I was surprised at that, and a very good turnout in Cranston. Let's see. Which one is he? Nope. Who is this guy? Barrington coach Jeff Turner. Someone will know. Kind of a big guy, but it doesn't mean. Could be the baseball coach. I'm not exactly sure. Again, Channel 10 did go to the teacher's house, mocking. Charlie's not in heaven. Charlie's not in heaven. Hello there, Bruce. There's Loretta. There's Debbie, who's so great. Folks, we're going to begin in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes out. I am stunned, and I'll explain to you about. First, I was stunned about the Barrington teacher. Now I'm stunned about the Barrington coach that actually stood up to then defend this guy. I'll tell you, but again, it's a Barrington thing. They're the ones. Maybe the people are comfortable with this. I've said that from the beginning. Do I think he's going to be terminated? There's a huge difference between should he be and will he be. I don't know. All right, we're going to start in just one moment. 1 minute. There's Rosie. Yes. Jeff Turner, coach in Barrington. Wow. What a jerk this guy is. Oh, good. And we're going to begin in un momento. Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk to David Bossie. In 1 minute. and president of the Citizens United. Yep. And we shall begin. Folks, 106 on this Tuesday. Good afternoon. Right now, as we speak, we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on X. We're also live on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Remember, you can always listen online on our website, depetro.com. Kicking things off. I mean it. First, I couldn't believe, like a lot of people, what the Barrington teacher said. But what I'm going to play for you of this Barrington coach, and he wasn't alone, but I want to credit Nicole Salas, who recorded his sound. I also want to give credit. Channel 10 went to the Cranston home of that teacher that the media still won't name, which is ludicrous. They know who he is. His name was being talked about. But this is the investigative media that we're talking about, investigative local media. But to be very clear, I'm going to play for you this stooge of a coach in Barrington, Jeff Turner. If anyone knows who he is, what sport he coaches, how people can get a hold of him, all of that stuff. Normally, anyone affiliated with school, it's all like a public website. So this portion of our program, though, folks, is brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. You know, September is a beautiful month. As much as I always complain about the end of summertime and Labor Day, this weather really is spectacular. Yesterday was great. Last night. Right now, fall is in the air. They have homegrown mums and kale are outstanding. Sizes ranging 4-inch, 12-inch pots. Now, they have everything you need for all your fall decorations. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. Family-run business. Steve and Debbie and Junior and Lauren and Byron. What a fantastic job they do. And stop in, and they grind it. They're open 7 days a week. Their next day off is Christmas Day. A kinship I have with them is just how hard they work, like the chosen one. But they have pumpkins, straw bales, cornstalks, gourds, Indian corn, native vegetables. This is the ideal time for planting, whether it's trees, shrubs, perennials, everything you need. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. They are just fantastic and big supporters, obviously, clearly, and sponsors of our program. Don't forget, depetro.com has links to all of our social media. I have another story that we're going to put out. We're going to have actually everything about the Barrington teacher and now some of his enablers coming up. And don't forget, depetro.com, which is brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Whether it's lunch, whether it's dinner, whether it's drinks in the lounge, they're open 7 days a week. And the menu is just fantastic. There's something on the menu for everyone at the Coesit Inn. Again, stop in and see them. I love it there. All right, I want to just get to the way these are my words. Last night they had a joint school committee and town council meeting in Barrington. I believe it was scheduled. I don't know whether or not it had been scheduled. So now I want to be very clear about this. And that is, as I've said, this is ultimately going to be up to the people of Barrington if this guy is going to be allowed. And so I want to give credit to friend of the program. She's a hero, Nicole Salas. This teacher, just to frame it, and I also want to be very clear. If you haven't seen the videos of the teacher, they're on Facebook, I put them on TikTok, they're on X, they're out there. And people need to learn to do that. If someone's mentioning something and you're unfamiliar, just go on your own. I saw some woman said, I didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was. Why would you admit that? Why not just look it up and say, I guess I learned something? I don't understand these people. But anyhow, the way they're trying to frame this is he's the co-head of the union, teachers union in Barrington. And obviously, you know, their mantra is no one gets fired. If you're a member of the union, nobody gets fired. So what they're doing is they're trying to run defense for him. They're trying to get away. And that's why this coach, as someone that, you know, I see a lot of people speak, I can tell if a speech is, most of the time, I believe I can. I can tell if a speech has been prepared for someone, whether it's their own words, if they're reading something that is in someone else's words. When you've watched the number of people give speeches and statements that I have, I can tell more often than not if somebody's reading something that they actually wrote compared to if something was prepared for them. There's a difference. One of the best ones of that was Kamala Harris. All of her statements and speeches were read, and as she was reading them, she would suddenly start to be like, yeah, I kind of like that line. And she would repeat it in a way like that, because you could tell it was the first time she was hearing it. So last night, what's the union doing? They step up, and it's unfortunate, and blah, 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 we're going to cooperate. But behind the scenes, they want this Cranston teacher, to be able to keep his job. And it's not just one video. He did more than one. But I want to still do a little stop and start with this Barrington coach. I've never heard of this guy. I posted, I broke it up into 2 different videos. And they right now, they will be on Instagram and YouTube and so forth. Right now, they're just on the Facebook page. And then I'll also get them up on X. And again, I give credit to Nicole Solis. But some of the statements he makes are just asinine. And they're trying to distract people from what actually happened. So they're trying to say, maybe it was tough talk, but kids need to learn. Grown-ups get upset sometimes. That's not what we're talking about. And then I give credit to the students that got up and said, one student I thought was very effective. She said that she wanted to do a project or a speech about transgender playing in sports, men, boys playing in girls' sports. And this teacher gave her a hard time about it. Talked to her for 45 minutes. Get off that topic. Very, very biased compared to someone else she knew that was writing a pro-abortion speech. And he was like, wasn't that a fantastic speech? But this coach who gets up, I'll just cut to the chase. What is so incredible to me, this guy says, this Coach Turner, I'm going to play it right now, that if this teacher's on leave in Barrington, this is having a chilling effect on teachers and their freedom of speech outside the classroom. A chilling effect that this idiot, Ben Philo, was placed on administrative leave. You know what's a bigger chilling effect to free speech, Coach Turner? That would be someone assassinated on a college campus as they're trying to have back and forth, give and take, discussing issues of the day. I would argue that's far more of a chilling effect. Who wants to right now in this climate have an outside rally, whether you're a Republican or Democrat? Raise your hand. Nobody. Who's an activist? If you were Ben Shapiro, would you right now have some kind of an outside event in this climate? That's the chilling effect. Not putting a union teachers union member who makes TikToks mocking the death of Charlie Kirk. They didn't fire him. They put him on administrative leave. Oh, it's having a chilling effect on teachers. This guy, I can't believe this guy. I really can't. And let me preface this. I have no idea if he's a good coach, bad coach. I heard the wife is big with the Barrington Dems, but
for expressing a blunt opinion outside of school hours, every other teacher will think twice about expressing an opinion or speaking truth to power, not just
truth to power. Speaking truth to power. Charlie Kirk was assassinated for what? Speaking out against transgender in sports? Truth to power. Teachers will think twice. Maybe they should think twice before they post videos, Coach Turner. I want you find out everything about this guy. I come back to, this guy didn't write this speech. He's just the stooge that got up to agree to read the speech.
On their own time, but in the classroom as well. That silence does not serve education. It breeds fear and conformity.
It breeds fear and conformity. The teacher that's on paid leave referred to Charlie Kirk as a piece of garbage. So, if you do this, teachers may think, maybe teachers should think twice before they say something like that. Coach, what an ignoramus. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Propane Plus. Call them today. In Rhode Island, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. Remember, they're available 24/7. It is so easy. Look at the website. Those that are watching, residential, commercial, heating or cooling, you can depend on Propane Plus. I can understand why this type of imbecile, this coach, would not want discussion on things. You know what else? There's so many parts about this that are comical. Of this guy, Coach Turtle. I don't know this teacher. My kids went to this schools here, but I don't know that. You don't know teacher. Why are you speaking what a great teacher is? Oh, he's dedicated. Oh, he's a great teacher. That what he's basically saying last night is this guy is such a great teacher because he hates President Trump. That's what this stooge really was saying. He is, I want to be very clear, this Barrington coach, Jeff Turner, he's defending the teacher that mocked the death of Charlie Kirk. Oh well, Charlie. Hi, Charlie. You are garbage. Don't you agree with that? Referring to someone as garbage who was just assassinated. Now, again, this stooge is just reading what they put in front of him. Hold on.
Students might somehow be intimidated by this teacher's commentary, which included, by my count, one sharp phrase.
One sharp phrase. What is that supposed to? We know what that means.
One person truly feels shaken by words so mild, especially in contrast to Mr. Kirk's words. The appropriate response is to offer these children perspective and resilience, not to punish a teacher for speaking candidly.
Speaking candidly. No, he was being insensitive. It was inappropriate. Truth to power. These are the same people. This Coach Turner. Does he coach the transgender team? Is that what it is? This is the same crowd that they need a safe space. And you can't show a Trump flag. And you can't, anxiety. This is the same crowd. Resilience. By my count, he only said one thing. It's the tone, it's the nature of it. This guy's doing a TikTok account. He's putting videos out for all to see. Let's mock this conservative Christian activist who was just brutally assassinated. That's the theme of the TikTok. This stooge, Coach Turner. Kids need to learn resilience. Wow. Oh, is that what we're going to say now?
It is not the job of this district to shield students from the reality that sometimes adults express strong opinions.
Sometimes adults express strong opinions, except if it's Charlie Kirk, if it's a conservative, if it's someone that helped get president elected. In this stooge's mind, that person should have no rights to voice their opinion. See, this guy, they're all for the free speech thing, as long as you're in the pew singing out of the same hymn of what it is, the babble they're putting forward. Well, kids need to learn resilience. Is that what they say to children that are upset that President Trump is in office? Is that what the teacher was trying to teach his students about Charlie Kirk? No, it's the opposite. It was the opposite. This guy's saying, hey, Charlie, he was asking for it. Hey, live by the sword, die by the sword. Hey, too bad he should have thought about that. That's the attitude. He had it coming. Barrington is supposed to be one of the elite school districts. Barrington is known as a transient. If someone's moving, like an executive moving into the state, they meet with the realtor. Barrington's one of the communities. Oh, and you may want to consider Barrington. They have a great school system here and blah, blah, blah. Wow. Well, kids got to show resilience. Is that what the teacher was teaching? Because I sure didn't get that. I didn't get that message. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by J. Perry Paving. Freddie asked me, Freddie's thinking of getting his driveway paved. Who is the company I recommend? Fred, J. Perry Paving. You can call them 401-732-1730. Free estimate. And remember, if you're a veteran, or your grandfather's a veteran, your father's a veteran, your mother's a veteran, whoever, no one has a better package for veterans than J. Perry Paving. You got to do it now before the cold weather comes in. High quality, fair pricing, exceptional service, 20 years experience, over 20. Free estimate any project, 401-732-1730. Letter J, J. Perry Paving. Well, these kids need to toughen up, said the transgender coach in Barrington. What a buffoon. I cannot believe the people that were clapping when this stooge sat down. He's literally reading. Oh, read it. Oh, good news. Jeff said he'll read it. It'll mean a lot. He's a coach like Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, is a coach. Let me finish this. There's 2 videos that I posted. Hold on. Again, if you want to see this, I have it on the Facebook page.
The Defamatory Act. It broadcasts to the community that he is somehow unsafe or unfit to be punished for expressing a blunt opinion.
Okay. He then says, and this is unfair, what it's saying to the community. You know what it's saying to the community is that that's not proper language for a teacher. You know what it is? When someone is killed, I give credit. There were some kids that stood up that said, hey, I like Charlie Kirk. I admired Charlie Kirk. That should, who, you want to talk about a power dynamic? Oh, really? Oh, I was going to give you an A on that paper. Too bad. Looks like you're getting a B-, Charlie Kirk fan. Don't tell me that type of stuff doesn't go on. It absolutely goes on. All right. Again, this is Barrington coach Jeff Turner gets up last night and reads a speech prepared for him by the Progressive Democrat Caucus of Barrington.
Is a defamatory act. It broadcasts to the community that he is somehow unsafe or unfit, when in reality,
I don't know about unsafe or unfit. He's definitely, was coming unglued. The fact that definitely unstable. Anyone that is in the talks of his, I've posted, as people say, is, wow, that guy, look at the crazy eyes. He's scary. He's definitely unglued at the very least. This is unfair to him that the media, oh, gee, now it's the media's fault. Who did the TikTok? Ben Philo. This is unfair to the community, and these kids need to toughen up. So if the teacher's going to mock the death of Charlie Kirk, kids need to understand grown-ups lose their temper and they get angry sometimes. Is that really the lesson here, Coach? Right? This is the same crowd that they have a meltdown if you don't use their proper pronouns. And now they're telling everyone else to toughen up. Wow.
he was exercising his free speech on his own time. His reputation as a teacher earned through years of service.
I want to touch on that. He was utilizing free speech on his own time. How far do you want to take that? Let's say, okay, so let's follow that through. So now you have a teacher. Again, you want to follow that principle. He's just a teacher using free speech on his own free time. Okay. So in other words, he could do videos that are very racist in nature, that are very maybe anti-Semitic in nature, and then just say, hey, freedom of speech. He's doing it on his own time. Listen, that is a fundamental misunderstanding, and it's also inaccurate. There are certain professions that you can't just shut the light on and off. One is clergy, right? Another is a doctor. Another's an attorney, a judge. And then we also have police and fire and teachers, right? So if a police officer goes to a bar and starts telling racist jokes outside or inside the bar, drinking, or making anti-Semitic remarks, do we just say, hey, that's on his own free time? No, no, no. Not so fast there, Coach Turner, coach of the transgender team in Barrington. You know, this is having a chilling effect. I can't believe whoever wrote this speech, you know, they thought it was brilliant. We'll have Coach Jeff deliver it because he's a big, rugged guy like Governor Waltz. What a clown.
We should also ask, what message are we sending to students in a circumstance like this? That free expression should be punished? That truth should be muzzled if it ruffles feathers? That character assassination is more acceptable than a debate here in town? That's not civics, that's not democracy, that's cowardice.
You know what cowardice is, Coach? That would be mocking the death of someone who was brutally assassinated on a college campus. A father, a Christian, a father, a husband, peaceful gathering. Hey, who wants to talk to me? He didn't say who wants to fight me, right? I've seen there's videos I'll see on TikTok. There's a kid, I think he's a college wrestler. He goes around the country, take me down. What do you think your chances? Can you take me down? And he's an unbelievable wrestler. And there's some Greek kid. I think he played college basketball. The kid is an unbelievable one-on-one. And it's TikToks of him. He literally travels all over. And kids try to play him one-on-one. Charlie Kirk was debating. You know, there's a chilling effect of free speech. I want to repeat what I said just moments ago. The chilling effect on speech is when someone is shot down the way Charlie Kirk was, right? And then many times society is forced to react for safety measures. After Dallas and President Kennedy, a president no longer rides in an open car. It's no longer safe. They made adjustments to that. After what happened to President Trump and Butler, going forward, events are held inside because you can control it more. And that's not the first time something like that has happened. After there have been shootings in other places, they have metal detectors that you have to go through to try to get in. After some police officers, prisoners took guns from police officers. They adjusted. Now they lock away the weapons when they go inside a police station. Now, the real message is that it's not safe to have an outdoor gathering, no matter how beautiful the setting is, if someone is saying something that you may not like. That's you tell me, that's more chilling. So what the teacher, let me be very clear, what the teacher did in Barrington, it was highly unprofessional, inappropriate. It sets a terrible example. I don't think he's going to. You know why he's not going to get fired? Because in the teachers union, none of them get fired. None of them. They make the language impossible to fire someone. This guy could be out for 2 years on paid leave, and they still won't fire him. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by ServPro. Remember, fast, thorough, professional. ServPro of Providence. Call them today, 401-941-5500. ServPro, when disaster strikes, you can count on them 24/7. 401-941-5500. 401-941-5500. Restoration, reliability, results. It's ServPro Providence. You have a fire or flood or mold, call ServPro of Providence. You know, I want to come back. I just think it's very predictable. What happened last night in Barrington and Nicole Salas was there. I'm using her video sound. Some kids that spoke out even posted a TikTok, and they were great about it. And they want the teacher fired. There's a young female student that I said that she talked about that he would target people to go after your views. These 3 young kids got up and they said, they don't like the fact that their teacher, they feel intimidated, as it is intimidating. So that's going to be, I don't know. Let's see what the independent right now they're there's still people almost trying to deny that he did anything wrong. So let's just come back to, this was not even in the classroom. They're trying to argue now, he's on his own free time. That's just freedom of speech. This is the same crowd that they would ban someone from wearing a Trump shirt to Barrington High School. Can you imagine? You can't wear, and I know that they've gone against that stuff, but this is the whole thing. This crowd, the Barrington crowd, this is the crowd. This is the crowd of that, it's okay to have a BLM flag, but you're not going to have a Trump flag. It's okay to have the Palestinian flag, but you're not going to have a flag of Israel. It's okay if you wear a Biden-Harris shirt, but you're not going to wear a Trump shirt. That's where they draw the line. So, and these 3 kids got up and they talked about it, that they were appalled. And this, let's just be very clear. This type of thing, this is not learning. In sending up the coach who's clearly reading something written for him by probably his wife, who I understand is a professor at Roger Williams College, just because of this provocateur, Charlie Kirk. I don't even know if he mentions him. He was asking for, and this is a chilling effect to teacher. Stop. What about, speak no ill of the dead? What do I think should have been taught in the classroom? Listen, if you're that teacher, do I like teachers that would talk about current events? Definitely. Why not listen? Why not have a discussion about it? Why not talk about how wrong it is that someone, you don't have to like what he's saying, but if someone's doing it in a debating manner and they're having a back and forth in conversation, he's sitting there, prove me wrong. But according to this coach, he's a provocateur who was asking for that's the attitude. It's one thing, I don't know this coach, Jeff Turner. Obviously, I don't know this guy. But to actually get up there and say these things that they prepare for you, and these remarks, and trying to argue that it has a chilling effect on the free speech of teachers, and that kids need to learn to toughen up because sometimes adults use harsh words. That's the lesson. That sure didn't sound like the lesson coming from this teacher, Ben Philo. The message doesn't even make sense, what this coach is saying.
Expressing a blunt opinion outside of school hours, every other teacher will think twice about expressing an opinion or speaking truth to power, not just on
truth to power. Who's the power? 31-year-old father of 2, Christian Charlie Kirk? Is that the truth to power? Is that what you tell your union members? Can someone opt out of paying their teacher union dues? Is that how can people speak up about the union, the teachers union? How about the fact that Randy Weingarten is having some kind of a roundtable discussion? She's in charge of Calabro and all these other people. The roundtable discussion is how to deal with parents who are fascists. What does the coach say about that? What if someone said, I am a union member and I think he should be fired? Would that be allowed? God, they're so pathetic.
their own time but in the classroom as well. That silence does not serve education. It breeds fear and conformity.
What was the education lost or gained by this TikTok video? This doofus gloating that Charlie Kirk was brutally executed in a video that rocketed around the world for everyone to see? What that he was laughing at him? Oh well, too bad, Charlie, and you're not in heaven. Really? What share with us, coach? What's the lesson learned there? She doesn't sound that way. Sure doesn't sound that way. I don't know what type of coach this stooge is, but there's basic humanity. There's basic civility. In sports, they don't even allow taunting in sports. If you score a touchdown and start going up to the other player and pointing, that's a penalty. And you can't do anything remotely close to that. That's why the players are then all looking into the stands. You can't sack a quarterback and go up and start pointing at them, coach. This is a chilling, like I found that. Whoever wrote that line for this stooge, Coach Jeff Turner, by placing this teacher on paid leave, it's a chilling effect on teachers' freedom of speech. Who wrote that? That's like a punchline. Compared to the chilling effect of someone speaking on a college campus and then someone killing them from a rooftop. You tell me, Coach Jeff Turner, coach of the transgender team in Barrington, which is the more chilling effect? During the 60s, when you had Bobby Kennedy killed, first you had JFK killed, when you had Martin Luther King killed, you had Malcolm X killed. That was a chilling effect. President Trump almost assassinated. Steve Scalise almost killed at the ball field. President Trump again almost assassinated. That is, we're sending a message. We're coming after. As guys like this stooge, ramping it up. You're a fascist. You're a Nazi. They need to be stopped. They need to be silenced. It's all one way with this crowd.
We must reject the notion I've heard around town that students might somehow be intimidated by this teacher's commentary, which included, by my count, one sharp phrase.
One sharp phrase. Would that be that he was laughing that he was shot and killed? Or would it be that he referred to Charlie Kirk as a piece of garbage? Which sharp phrase? Word around town. Yes. What student would not be intimidated? Of course they would. There's different forms of intimidation. So what about, the young girl that feels intimidated about the coach that says, I want to see you after practice? Or the male teacher that gives her an uneasy feeling that says, I want to see you after class? Kids shouldn't be intimidated because the guy's making videos of how much he hates the Republican Party. He said the Republican Party, I'll play some of the students, as a matter of fact, of what they said, where not only is this teacher on leave, not only is he, you want to talk about an agenda, the gay flag, that the pride flag, whatever we're calling it, that's hanging in the classroom. No question about it.
If a young person truly feels shaken by words so mild, especially in contrast to Mr. Kirk's words, the appropriate response is to offer these children perspective and resilience, not to punish a teacher for speaking candidly.
A teacher speaking candidly. He didn't go, let me just frame on this just for a moment, folks, just so we're all clear. This teacher, he didn't go and see Charlie Kirk. He didn't show up somewhere and have words with him. He didn't go to one of these events and say, you're wrong, and I'll tell you why. He didn't do that. He made videos mocking the let's just be very clear about what those videos were. Those videos were haha. Those videos were, sucks to be you, like that type of attitude. That's what that was. No question about it. This isn't speaking truth to power. This isn't candid. He was literally dancing on the grave of Charlie Kirk. That's what it was. That's what it is. And now they send this stooge up to try to make it seem truth to power. Again, this is the same crowd. They freak if someone doesn't use the right pronouns. They are quivering because President Trump is in office. What an absolute joke that this crowd is. And they're applauding him like he's a monkey, like a puppet. Isn't that great how he got up? Imagine the wife. I told to the other progressive caucus, I told you he could read it. And that's what he did. What a disgrace. To me, this guy, this coach, Jeff Turner, he's worse than the teacher. The teacher wasn't hijacked. He was always doing this. And he did it, he's so full of hatred for Charlie Kirk. He couldn't resist making TikToks. I also want to correct the media. They didn't delete them. The guy just made his account private. But this guy, see, this is written by the union. This is a matter of, this is freedom of, now freedom of speech is at stake. Oh, now they're in favor of freedom of speech. But what about if Charlie Kirk speaks? Well, he shouldn't be allowed to speak. What a pathetic group this is.
It is not the job of this district to shield students from the reality that sometimes adults express strong opinions.
Except they won't play any speeches by President Trump. And they feel very comfortable. They feel very comfortable calling President Trump a Nazi. So this crowd, this guy to get up there, oh yeah, he wrote it. How come so who sits down and types out a full that had cross-outs and so forth? Folks, we are joined now. We have been talking about Charlie Kirk and what's going on in the country in the aftermath. And someone that knew Charlie and has been fighting the fight on the national stage for a long time. We are just thrilled to have him join us on the John DePietro Show. Good afternoon to David Boss. Good afternoon, David.
Good afternoon, John. I'm glad to be with you. I'm sorry for the reason.
Exactly. David, I want to hear your thoughts. What's going on? What happened last week? And what have we been experiencing since then?
So many different things, John, go through my head in the aftermath of what tragedy befell our great nation last week. Charlie Kirk was an amazing man, a young man, 31 years old, struck down even before his prime. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think he was going to do amazing things in his life, even more so than he did. And so I'm an angry guy today. We use words like, or phrases like, we're in a battle of ideas. We're in a war between good and evil. And we've been saying these things for years. But Charlie's murder, Charlie's assassination, really make that entire discussion mean something different now. And so, I so appreciate him for what he did, for the country, what he did to help President Trump, what he did to re-engage the young people in this country.
Yep.
And look, I'm a guy who came of age in college when Ronald Reagan was president. So there was always the morning again in America ideal, that America's best days were ahead of it, not behind it. And the idea of American exceptionalism. that concept is something that has been with me for my entire career. And so Charlie Kirk embodied all of those things that he wanted to tell the American people, and to really engage the youth on what a great nation, what opportunities they had in the greatest nation in the world. But he also did it through scripture. It's interesting for me as an observation that I looked at Charlie in my career, knowing him as a political guy. We're all political guys. That's what we do. Using communication and social media and other tools to drive home our points and make points. But we all think of ourselves as political. In his death, I really see Charlie now much more as an evangelical leader than a political one. That he used scripture and the gospel as an education for young people who are desperately looking for the reason to live their best life, or to look for opportunities. Charlie was much more than just a conservative leader. He was an evangelical conservative leader, and that's really, I think, what has, in watching, like all of us, you watch Charlie's videos over the last, week that he's been gone, and I just have recognized the depth of his knowledge, the incredible intellect that really he had, that I don't know that I recognized in his life, only in his death. And he was a friend of mine. And so, we take each other for granted a little bit, right? You're running around doing things, important things. But what Charlie Kirk did, what Charlie Kirk meant to America, what Charlie Kirk meant to the president, is really, it's a shocking thing to wake up to the realization last Wednesday that a crazed leftist, a radical Democrat, somebody who took his life over words, and that's an incredible thing.
David, you are a legend within the party, and what should not be underestimated, two things. One, listen, the rhetoric is coming from the other side. You can only say that so many times, racist and fascist. Well, the other thing, and you touched on it, is, traditionally the Democrat Party was the party of young people. And, that's been like that for some time. What President Trump, what Charlie Kirk, what they really shattered was suddenly, and you hear all these young people talking about it, that it was cool to be a Republican on campus. It's cool to be a conservative on campus.
Right.
It's a powerful message. And you're talking about a young guy, a young father sitting there saying, come talk to me. Let's have a discussion. It is just such a bottom point right now in our nation.
It really is. And you've seen the I don't know I don't know how to describe it, whether it's the fuse being lit in a positive way, that Charlie's death has ignited this groundswell of love, support, across, not only across this country, but around the world. I've been in awe, to be honest with you, to look at around the country, self-organizing prayer vigils taking over college campuses, town squares, city halls, you name it. And it's been an incredible thing to watch and behold. And so you see the number, I think it's 32,000 requests. 32,000. There aren't 32,000 colleges and universities and high schools in this country.
Right.
It is unbelievable, the energy that is now coming forward, that people are saying, and I've seen others do this, and that is that they are Charlie Kirk, that we, each one of us, can become Charlie Kirk. Each one of us can start a chapter, can become a turning point opportunity to bring people together in love and in an important conversation and discussion about what America stands for and where America goes from here.
David, you have been so instrumental and impactful with Citizens United. I'd like you to just take a minute to let people know about Citizens United and how they can get involved and follow your great work.
Well, thank you. Citizens United has been around a long time, since 1988, and we do what we consider really important work. People can go to citizensunited.org. They can look at all of our important work online. We have a foundation as well as a C3 and a C4, so we are able to do the political work and the educational work. We have PACs, so we support conservative candidates all across the country. Write books, tons of litigation, grassroots advocacy, and really one of the things we're known for is all the documentary films that we've made, with a host of conservative leaders over the years, from Donald Trump to Steve Bannon, many others, and it's been an incredible life's work for us here to try to continue to move the ball forward for the conservative movement and for our ideals of a limited government, freedom. It is I say all that and it's important, but it's such a shocking thing to see what happened last week, because I've been doing this a long time, and I'm an old kind of rough customer. I'm a little older than Charlie, a lot older than Charlie was, and I was on some tough spots on college campuses. You look back, and it was patty cake compared to what they're doing today. That's the difference. There's a lot of talk, a lot of bluster, but what happened to Charlie is so just it's just so outside of what we expect in a civil discourse. We could look, when a liberal is killed or dies in some way, there aren't conservatives out there dancing and celebrating.
No.
The disgusting nature of these people that do that. And I have never been one of these cancel culture warrior types that say, you disagree with me, I want, but I can tell you I believe in people's free speech. I also believe in, people's right to be incredibly stupid. And if you want to be stupid, now's your moment, because these people are doing things online that they cannot get back. Exactly, and they're right. They're losing their jobs and livelihoods and friends and family, and rightly so.
Folks, again, the great David Bossie, Citizens United. David, excellent. Such a pleasure to talk to you. Keep up the great work, and we'll definitely talk to you again.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
All right, folks, there he is, David Bossie, right here on the John DePietro Show. Again, folks, it's one of those things, exactly right. First, you have the teacher in Barrington saying something stupid. Then you have that coach, apparently a baseball coach, get up. And what I just found most comical almost was the coach. And again, if you haven't seen the videos, I did post them on Facebook. I think they'll be on Instagram. We'll definitely have them on YouTube and so forth. But to try whoever wrote it, that's why I think, where are these people from another planet? Placing a teacher on leave, placing a teacher on paid leave is having a chilling effect on the free speech of teachers in their own private time. No, as I stated, the chilling effect is gruesomely assassinating and shooting and killing someone in broad daylight as they're giving a speech on a college campus in a video that rockets across, the globe. That's the chilling of free speech, not some bozo cutting TikTok videos where he's prancing around and mocking the fact that that person was killed. I mean, this isn't even like a time and place. And I would just want to be very clear. As I have said, this was not someone thought they overheard something in the teacher's lunchroom. This was not, he's having a few people over for a cookout and, some things are said. This is not someone thought they overheard him on a phone, right, in the grocery store in line. He's recording videos and putting them out there for all to see. This portion of our program is brought to you by, listen, and if you want to get your, you do want to get your garage epoxied or patio, decorative concrete flooring, quality asphalt seal coating, call Corey today, 401-283-9815. But you're going to get on the list because they only do this certain time of year and the clock is ticking. 401-283-9815, quality asphalt seal coating. They could also resurface a basketball court or a tennis court or a pickleball court, any type of sport court, but they do tremendous work with epoxy garages and patios, decorative concrete flooring, quality asphalt seal coating. Call them 401-283-9815, 401-283-9815 for quality asphalt seal coating. Well, folks, again, good afternoon. David is great. And you're going to continue to hear different voices. To me, it's tough to ignore that the local media, again, I want to give credit actually to Channel 10. They did go to the teacher's home and then they heard a voice say no comment. Other than someone opening the door saying, I don't know what you're doing here. What are you doing here? Did I win? Is this publisher's, clearinghouse sweepstakes or something like that? So just yells through the door, no comment. But check out the videos that Nicole did that I have posted of that coach trying to, everything that they say, and he was saying, and I believe that was written for him, like a speech that was written for him, that someone would read that was written for them. They feel the total opposite if they're on the other side. Kids need to, our students need to tough up. Is that what you say, that they're upset that President Trump won? Teachers have freedom of speech. This is not a matter of freedom of speech. This is a matter of appropriateness. Now, Barrington may decide he is the best possible person for our classroom. That's going to be a decision that Barrington's going to make. But I find it embarrassing and reprehensible that these adults that got up, and the whole reason they're defending that teacher is because they hate President Trump. And therefore, conversely, they hate Charlie Kirk. That's what it's all about. We will be doing Road Patrol Live later. If you're listening to the radio, stay tuned for the 2 o'clock news. Folks, we'll have a lot more later on this Tuesday.